Hi. God has laid this on me to give a message, and it's about my life, things that have happened throughout my life. He's told me a couple times to tell my story, so I'm telling my story today. I'm going to try to start from the beginning, as when I was a child, things that had happened to me. When I was very young, I was sexually molested when I was, I think it was about 6, 7 years old. Twice I was sexually molested. It was family members, someone that you would think that would love you and care for you and not do these kind of things, but I thought it was normal. So because it had happened so many times, didn't, as I was growing up, my father left us when we were very young. We were very young and he left, and my mom had to raise us 3 by herself, which was really tough, and I know that, it was very hard for her. She actually worked 2 jobs to try to take care of us. But there was a little part in that she had sent us to live with our grandmother for a little while. And I, being, I guess, kind of a little bit rebellious of it, I held a lot of things that happened being sexually molested. I blamed my mom for some things as I was growing up. And I didn't understand, I didn't know how to love. I felt like, is this the way you're supposed to love a man? And I knew it wasn't. I knew it was wrong. And as a teenager, I just, when I had relationships, it was sometimes quick. It was not the way it should have been. But I didn't know any other way, because I just felt like that's how you love someone. But I know that wasn't, as I got older, I knew that wasn't. I held this in for a lot of years. It didn't come out till I was in my 20s. I actually told my mom about it, and she was very upset that this had happened to me. She didn't know. My brother, Robert, he knew, but he held it in also. So it wasn't something that you really talk about. It's not something that you come out and talk about, because you feel like inside no one will believe you anyway, so why talk about it? So I kept it in. I just kept it in, and I had so much hurt, so much hate. And it was hard. But as I got older, I did a few things. I got married at 18, had a child. I was young. I feel like that marriage was really a train wreck altogether. It lasted 6 years. But it was a lot of this, because around that time, all this stuff came out. So it was hard. But I got through that marriage and, got into another relationship. It was just, felt like one relationship after another. It just wasn't right. It wasn't fulfilling. It didn't feel right. It just was not there. That hurt, that from when I was a little girl, all that happening to me, was there. So I just went on with my life with, doing what I'm doing, and, I had so much, and I wish I didn't, but today I understand it, and I did before now. I understood why my mom had to do what she had to do. She couldn't really take care of us. I mean, it was hard. My father left. He was not there. She was trying to do this by herself. And I know I say a lot about my oldest brother uh, because he's actually my hero um, throughout all this, because he, at a young age, uh, he took off when we lived down with my grandmother, and he left. He actually ran away, and he got us from out of there because it was abusive all around there. You know, my grandmother did the best she could as far as taking care of us, but it was just not a good situation at all. So, you know, we got out of there and we moved to Richmond, and we lived in Richmond. I'm going all over that place probably, but I don't mean to, but this I'm just going back and forth. But we moved to Richmond, and we lived on South Side Richmond. It was, you know, she raised us in a single wide trailer with 3 of us by herself. So, you know, and I look back at those things. She was young also, you know. She did the things that she had to do because, you know, and I understand that now. But before I wanted to do this video, I talked to her to give my testimony, and told her that I was doing this. And she said, "It's okay, Trish. This has been on your mind for a long time. You need to do this." So that gave me confirmation too. So, but her trying to raise us, and, you know, was really hard for her. But as we got older, you know, things, you know, just kept rolling right along, and I could never find myself. I just could never find inside of me. I could never love the way I should have loved. It was hard. It was very hard. But I got through it, and I married again, which now me and Bo have been married for 30 years. We had our good times and bad times. You know, it's been back and forth, but that's okay. I mean, you know, all marriages are not perfect. They are what they are, and I think a marriage is a test anyway, you know, somewhat, and you're gonna have your ups and downs, no matter what. But my story is I wanted to tell my story because God's telling me someone needs to hear me. I don't know who, but someone needs to hear my story about me being sexually molested. I lived with it for so long, and I hated for so long, and I can't hate anymore. I don't want to hate anymore, and my heart is so big right now that when I came into this church, my youngest daughter invited me to come in here with her, Casey, and she wanted me to come in here with her, and I came in here, and I just felt the presence of God when I walked in this door, and it was so strong. And when I came in here, and the people were so nice. I mean, everybody was so awesome and so friendly. I mean, I've been in other churches, and, you know, I've been to church. I mean, like I had told Allie, that the seed has been there for me, because even when I was younger, I mean, I was trying to go to church. You know, I always wanted to be in church. I wanted to do something, anything to get away, anything to, you know, I liked going to church. But it has been there all my life. With my brother being a pastor, he'll, you know, he used to tell me I've tried, and I think he's told Dusty that I tried for 30 years. But, you know, it was just the time, you know, when I walked in here, and how great it felt, and I gave my life to the Lord right here. And I'm truly blessed. I'm truly blessed with what I have. And I know that He's given me my heart is just overflowing. I do things that I would not have done. I just a second. I do things that I would not have done. I mean, me and my husband were at Hardee's one morning, and we stopped there to get breakfast because he likes Hardee's. But we stopped there to get breakfast. There was this young girl that waited on us, and man, did she look like she had an attitude. She just looked like she was mad at the world. And I kept watching her waiting on customers, and it just looked like she was so stressed. When we were getting ready to leave, I went to the bathroom, and God, after I used the bathroom, I'm looking in the mirror, and he says, "Go tell her I love her." And I'm like, "What?" And he says, "Go tell her I love her." And I knew he was talking about that young girl. So my husband and I already walked up to the truck. And I went to her and I said, "Can you come here for a second?" I walked up to the counter. She was actually waiting on someone else. And I said, "I just want you to know that God loves you." And she was stunned. And I said, "I just want you to know that he loves you." And I hugged her. And she said, "Oh my gosh." And she said, "You made my day." But I felt it, and I feel it all the time. I'm praying at work. I do. And I know there's restrictions, at places, things that you shouldn't do or whatever. I know religion, some of the things that they're trying to do is not right. But I pray at work. I pray for people at work, and they come to me and want me to pray for them. So I do, and I'll get on my little speaker thing, and I says, "I want to say a prayer today. Anybody wants to come over to the deli, come on over. I'll be glad to pray for you." And I do that sometimes, and anybody that's had a problem. And it's just things that has happened in my life. And I go from that to what had happened through my life, to what it is today. And I'm thanking God every day. I thank him every day for what I have. And I know I wouldn't have what I have without him, because we didn't have a whole lot. And I know this, my story is my story. And I know there's a lot of women out there that have been through the same thing. I know that they have held this in for lots of years. But it does so much good to talk about it. Even when I talked about it in my 20s and I let it out, it did so much good. But today, it's doing even better. It's so much relief because of the change in me and the love that I have for other people. There is so much love. I even have Daniel. I have to mention Daniel. Daniel is he's like my angel. He comes into my work and he makes my day. But his father is actually a preacher in Powhatan. But anyways, there's just so many things that I could go over and say, but I know that I would probably be here half a day. But I feel like that a big part of it is out, and I just want everyone to know that God works. He works. Just ask him. He works. I mean, he is my Savior. He is, there's Robert, my brother, he always told me, he would always tell me, read the Bible, read the Bible. Well, I'm on my second time of reading the Bible right now. I've been saved now going on 3 years. I got baptized here. It's just been so much of a blessing to me, and it's just been so awesome. Like I said, the people here, I know that here lately. I haven't been coming as much as I usually, but I've had to work. I would come every Sunday, trust me. I'd be here, because this is where we need to be. This is where the world needs to be. And all I want is for the world to love one another, is for this world to be at peace. You know, we need that so bad. But I just want to say, Mom, I truly forgive you. And I love you, and I truly understand why you had to do what you had to do. And I am sorry for ever blaming you for anything, because this wasn't your fault. The things that happened to me was not your fault. And this is another thing I want to throw out there is I forgave these two people. I forgave them. I could not have done that without God, because I hated them. But I forgave them for what they did to me. And the only way I did that is because God gave me that strength, that power to do that. And it was hard, but I did it. I trusted in Him, and He gave that to me. Forgive them for what they've done. And I did. And I did this, and I had to do it. And I know there was comments said that I don't understand that. I don't know how to understand how you could have forgiven them. But I had to. I had to be at peace. I almost felt sorry for them, and that's God. I almost felt sorry for them for what they were doing. But in order for me to grow, I had to do what I had to do. I had to forgive them. And I did. So, here I am. And my life is better. My mind is better. My marriage is better. It's still a work in progress, but it's just part of life. We're not perfect. We're not made to be perfect. We're just not. And we all make mistakes. We all do things. But you grow, you get better, and you believe in God. You trust in Him. And He will make things. He will lead the way. Matthew 7 is one of them that I always sticks in my head. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open for you. And I know there's more. My brother kept telling me, he said, you need to remember the whole thing. But those are the ones that I remember. And He is there. Trust me. Let Him in. Let Him in. It will change your life.